You know, an old farmer once told me that you only get one lesson a year. So one of the things we do to try to learn as much as we can every year is we try out new things all the time, make the most of that year to find out what's good, what works, what doesn't work. So this year, as we were going through Lowe's, looking around at some of the plants and some of the gardening items for our home garden here, we came across this new tomato cage that they had out. And I thought, well, heavens, that looks interesting. Maybe we should give that a try. So normally on the farm, we're not worried about tomato cages so much. We string up the tomatoes in a different way for mass production. But at our home garden, we often end up using something like this right here, just a round tomato cage. It has 3 prongs on it here. It's about 3 feet high by the time you stick it in the ground. These are okay. We've used them for a lot of years, and sometimes we try something new and we always come back to these. We probably come back to these because they're the quickest, easiest way to hurry and plop a trellis in the ground and pull it out in the fall and be done with it. So in that way, these are really effective, but they have their downside too. And one of the things great about this trellis right here is that by the time this trellis is set up, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 legs stuck in the ground. And so it creates for a very stable trellis system that's really strong, and it doesn't fall over and flop over when these tomato plants get really heavy. Now you can see that sometimes in our backyard, tomatoes get away on us and they get really huge. We're busy doing other things. And this is the case with this cherry tomato plant bush right here. And you can see that the trellis is holding up quite well to all this heavy weight coming over the top of it. And it's leaning really hard this way. And on these new trellis design, they have 3 legs all holding the weight on one side. Whereas this old design right here, if it's leaning one direction, usually it's only going to have 1 leg that can help hold up the weight from the one direction. And so what ends up happening with these is as these plants get massive and huge on you, they do it overnight, it seems like, and all of a sudden that weight just topples this thing over, and you can see that the legs have been bent from the years, and it can get really bad, especially if you get a high wind. These trellises, you can see, just a lot stronger. These tomatoes over here are celebrity tomatoes, and they're just usually a little bit shorter. The trellis is plenty tall for those and for your normal tomato plants. 47 inches tall, so they're about 4 foot tall when they're sitting in here. The only negative I found about this trellis is that they don't offer a larger size yet. The cherry tomatoes over here are even taller than me. They're getting to be 6.5 feet tall. And it would be nice if they would offer a cage that goes up even another foot here to be a 5-foot cage for the taller varieties of tomatoes. Another really cool feature about these cages compared to those other round ones is that they have little hook on them, and you can tie them together into multiple units and make a larger structure for a tomato plant that's trying to spread out to help support its limbs. So I really like that these are so versatile like that, where I can block them together into a big cage system. The other thing that I kind of like on these, and this is not so important, but they powder coated them in red paint. And I just have a feeling that the tomatoes really like that. It helps them be encouraged to get their tomatoes red faster. So I'll just open one up here really quick for you. So there we got one opened, and it just folds out like that. And it just goes into a square. And you can see over here they have these hooks that kind of have an opening, and they just poke into the ground and they stay that way for the most part. So it's that quick and easy to set it up and to fold it back down for the winter, to store it back away. That's another beautiful benefit of it, is it stores really nicely as compared to these big jumbles here. We always have these as a big trouble in the garage. So I really appreciate the folding of it. The other cool thing is that you could take 2 of them and make a big square. So let's come over here for a minute. I'll show you one that we have on our Blackberry. And like I said, I wish, if anything, they would also make one that's a little bit taller, maybe 6 feet tall, 2 more sections on it. You see that we have a custom pattern for that blackberry bush on there, and that blackberry bush really enjoys that. So we're going to do the same thing here for these raspberries. Maybe I'll just do it in its square motion right here. Just press it into the ground, just like that there. And we'll put the raspberry up in here. And there it is. That quick and easy to set it up. Let me know in the comments what you think about this new trellis system, and maybe go buy one and try one out. They're really not that much more expensive than this old style right here. And I have found them to be one of the most effective for quickly setting it up, being versatile for any situation, quickly taking it back down, looking good in the garden, and maybe most important, they actually work at holding up that heavy weight of your tomato plant without collapsing and falling over. So structurally, they're very strong. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it was of some interest to you. And keep on gardening, you guys. Keep on growing, and we'll see you on the next one.